Welcome students. This is the class of BA Part 1st English Literature. In the earlier video class, I had given a short introduction of the poet John Milton. In this class, we would take up for discussion Milton's sonnet on his 23rd birthday, which is prescribed in your syllabus. So let's get started. John Milton, he was a major Puritan poet and writer, and he was steeped in classical education, and some of his early poems, they were in Latin. Milton's poem is really a journey from questioning to knowledge. John Milton is an autobiographical poet, and in every poem composed by him, there is a prominent subjective sentiment. So both the poems that you're going to study, either it is on his 23rd birthday or the next poem that we would take up for study on his blindness, which is also prescribed in your syllabus, you would come to realize that he is writing about himself. Milton is a poet by choice, and he has dedicated himself to the service of the muses. Milton, while writing, has a purpose in his life. He has dedication and has laboriously cultivated a remarkable rhythm. He has written 18 sonnets in English. The sonnet on his 23rd birthday expresses Milton's impatience to achieve great poetic heights. The poem also proves that for Milton, life is dedication, and he's constantly preparing himself to do something great. This sonnet is introspective because Milton, he is attempting to find out why he has not been as successful as some other young man of his age have been. On his 23rd birthday was written probably in December 1631, soon after Milton's 23rd birthday. But some of the critics, they place the composition of the poem in December 1632. So let us read the poem and discuss it. The poem begins, "How soon hath time, the subtle thief of youth, stolen on his wing my 23rd year. My hasting days fly on with full career, but my late spring no bud or blossom sheweth." So, the beginning of the poem introduces the theme of the poem. It creates the metaphor of time as a subtle thief, and what the subtle thief is stealing away? The youth, the budding time of the poet. So as a thief, it is flying away, it has stolen on his wing, means as a bird, it has stolen away the 23rd year of Milton's life. The poet, he expresses his concern that how the time is passing away, and with the passage of time, it is taking away the bloom and the creativity and the promising career of the poet. So the days, they are hasting and they are flying on with full career. So hasting days, full career, they show that how quickly the time is passing. The poet uses a seasonal metaphor to express that his spring is late and it has shown no bud or blossom. So there's no indication of his purpose, means that is not reflecting upon his personality that he would become a great poet, means The pursuit of Milton's life to achieve poetic excellence is not satisfying to the poet when he has arrived at the age of 23. The poet further says, "Perhaps my semblance might deceive the truth, that I to manhood am arrived so near, and inward ripeness doth much less appear, that so more timely happy spirits endureth." So the poet thinks, and he has his concern, that his appearance is deceiving the truth, means he looks quite younger to his age. He does not seem to look as old as a 23-year-old man. So he considers his appearance as deceitful. He is a man, but he does not have that ripeness, inward ripeness, that mental maturity, which is found in some more timely happy spirits. So happy spirits are the fortunate people, are the lucky people who are as mature as their age. So Milton, he is showing his concern that the mental maturity that should be given, or that should reflect in a man of 23 years of age, is not reflecting upon himself. The poet further says, "Yet be it less or more, or soon or slow, it shall be still in strictest measure even to that same lot, however mean or high, towards which time leads me, and the will of heaven." So the poet, in these lines, he consoles himself. And how do he console himself? By relying on the will, upon the will of God. So the thought is consoling to him that the poetic success would come to him less or more, soon or slow. So soon or late, high or low, it depends upon the strictest measure, the fate, the destiny, the luck that is given to him by God. And however mean or high, it would be given to him when time would come. So he believes in God, he believes in luck, he believes in the will of God, and he believes that time would take him to that point, and according to the will of heaven. In the concluding lines, the poet says, "All is, if I have grace to use it so, as ever in my great taskmaster's eye." So the poet believes that God is watching and he is controlling everything in his life. And whatever lot, whatever luck, wheresoever time leads him towards, he should have the grace to use it. Means God is watching him, and if he has grace to use the givings of God, the fortune which is granted to him, God certainly would bless him with a chance. So the taskmaster, he is observing and he is controlling the life of Milton. This is something that he believes, and he should have the grace, he should have the patience to wait for the lot or the talent or the time that is given to him. The sonnet was written when Milton had completed 23 years of his life. The poem is written to express his sorrow and dejection of not achieving anything great. Time has been personified and compared with a cunning thief with wings. And time has stolen 23 years of Milton's life, and this is Milton's concern. The days of his life are flying very speedily. Although 23 years of age, and it being the spring of his life, Milton has produced no bud or blossom, means as far as his poetic talent is concerned. In other words, he has not produced great poetry. Milton's appearance is deceitful. He is a man, but he does not have that mental maturity, which is found in some other man who have been more lucky, according to Milton. But by the time the poem comes to an end, Milton consoles himself by the thought that success, soon or late, high or low, it depends on luck, it depends on fortune and the will of God. So he believes that time it would take him to that point when he'll be successful. And he believes that God is watching him, and if he has grace, if he has patience to use it, God will certainly give him a chance. The poem expresses Milton's religious faith and faith in God. Milton says that the effort of a man or his concern cannot make him successful. For Milton, God is a taskmaster, a great taskmaster, and he is very kind, very benign. God keeps a watch on everyone, and without God's will, no one can achieve anything. This is a Petrarchan sonnet. It has an octave and a sestet. I've told you before that octave is a set of 8 lines and sestet is a set of 6 lines. The rhyme scheme of the octave is ABBA, ABBA, and that of the sestet is CDE, CDE. In the octave, the poet expresses his mood of disappointment and says that he has failed in his life. But in the sestet, he expresses faith in God and is hopeful of his success. The poet uses beautiful imagery. Time has been personified. It is compared with the subtle thief of youth, which has wings. Days are running like a horse at a gallop. The youth of a man is compared with spring. In spring seasons, buds and blossoms appear. In youth, when a person is in his young days, when he is a youth, successful acts appear. The poet borrows from the Bible such terms as grace and taskmasters. He uses alliteration as in bud or blossom, soon or slow. The meter and rhythm of the poem are perfect. Thus, the sonnet is an expression of Milton's desire for quick poetic achievement. So, in the next class, we would take up for study Milton's another sonnet prescribed in your syllabus on his blindness.